There comes a moment in every believer's life when everything around you seems to say, it can't be done. The situation looks too big. The pressure feels too heavy. The opposition is too strong. But right in the middle of that storm, heaven releases one unchanging reminder: God is with you. And when God is with you, nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible. You are not standing in this battle alone. You are not walking through this season by yourself. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who shut the mouths of lions, who raised the dead, and who moved mountains, is walking beside you right now. The reason fear has no authority over you is because the Creator of the universe has taken up residence in your life. You are not facing giants in your own strength. You are facing them with divine backing. The enemy wants you to focus on how small you are, how weak you feel, how limited your resources look. But faith shifts your focus from yourself to your God. You don't win because you are powerful. You win because God is powerful, and He is with you. When you understand that, you stop begging and start believing. You stop shrinking back and start stepping forward. Fear is one of the strongest weapons the enemy uses to stop people from walking in their God-given destiny. But when you truly understand that God is with you, fear begins to lose its grip. Fear comes when you focus on what you see, what you feel, and what you are going through. Faith comes when you focus on who God is and where He is in your life. When you realize that the Creator of heaven and earth is not far away but right beside you, fear has no place to live in your heart. You are not standing alone in your struggles, and you are not facing your challenges by yourself. The presence of God changes everything because His presence brings peace, power, and assurance that no situation is bigger than Him. So many people are afraid of tomorrow because they don't know what it holds. But when God is with you, you don't have to know the future because you know the one who controls it. Fear tries to tell you that you will fail, that you will be rejected, that things will not work out, but God's presence whispers something greater. It tells you that you are loved, that you are protected, and that you are guided every step of the way. When fear knocks on the door of your mind, faith answers by reminding you that God is already there. The Bible is filled with stories of ordinary people who faced extraordinary fear, yet they found courage because God was with them. Moses was afraid to speak, but God spoke through him. Joshua was afraid to lead, but God went before him. David was afraid of Goliath, but God was his strength. None of them were fearless on their own, but they became bold because they knew God was with them. That same God is with you today, and His presence in your life gives you the same boldness and courage. Fear makes problems look bigger than they really are. It magnifies danger and minimizes God. But faith does the opposite. Faith magnifies God and shrinks every problem down to its true size. When you know God is with you, you stop seeing your situation as impossible and start seeing it as an opportunity for God to show His power. The storm may still be raging, but fear no longer controls you because you know who is in the boat with you. God did not promise that life would always be easy, but He did promise that He would always be present. That promise alone is enough to silence fear. When God is with you, you don't have to be afraid of failure because even if you fall, He will lift you up. You don't have to be afraid of rejection because His love never leaves you. You don't have to be afraid of the unknown because He is already there waiting for you. Fear tells you to stay where you are, but God's presence gives you the courage to move forward. Fear wants to keep you trapped in your comfort zone, but God's presence pushes you into your purpose. Every time you step out in faith, fear will try to stop you, but when you remember that God is with you, you find the strength to take another step. That is how breakthroughs are born, not from the absence of fear, but from faith that is stronger than fear. When God is with you, peace replaces panic. Confidence replaces doubt. Hope replaces despair. You may still feel the pressure, but it no longer controls your decisions. You no longer move based on fear, you move based on faith. That is why the enemy works so hard to make you feel alone, because he knows that once you understand God is with you, his power over you is broken. So today, let fear go. Release every anxious thought, every worry, and every doubt into God's hands. Remind yourself that you are not abandoned, not forgotten, and not fighting alone. The presence of God is your shield, your strength, and your victory. And when God is with you, fear has no authority, no power, and no future in your life. Faith is the force that changes everything when life tries to convince you that nothing can change. It is easy to believe when everything is going well, when doors are open, and when progress is visible. But real faith is revealed when the situation looks impossible, when the answer seems far away, and when the pressure is heavy. Faith is not pretending that problems do not exist. It is choosing to believe that God is greater than every problem you face. When God is with you, faith becomes stronger than any situation, no matter how difficult or painful it may seem. Many people give up not because God has failed them, but because they stop believing before they see the breakthrough. The enemy loves to whisper lies that say, nothing is changing or this will never work. But faith hears a different voice. Faith hears God's promises and holds on to them even when everything else says to let go. When God is with you, his word carries more weight than your circumstances. What he has spoken over your life is more powerful than what you are experiencing right now. Faith works by trusting God beyond what you can see. You may not see how things will improve, but you trust that they will because God is involved. You may not understand why the road is difficult, but you believe that God is using it to prepare you for something greater. Faith is not about having all the answers. It is about knowing the one who does. When God is with you, you don't need to see the whole picture. You just need to take the next step. Every miracle in the Bible began with someone believing when it looked impossible. A woman touched the hem of Jesus' garment, even though her body was weak. A man lowered his friend through a roof because he believed Jesus could heal him. A boy offered his lunch even though it was not enough. In every case, faith was stronger than the situation, and God responded to that faith with power. That same God is still responding to faith today. Faith grows when you speak God's word instead of speaking fear. Your words have power. When you constantly talk about how bad things are, you give strength to your problems. But when you talk about how great God is, you release faith. Even when you don't feel strong, you can speak strength. Even when you don't feel hopeful, you can speak hope. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision to believe what God has said. When God is with you, no situation is final. Failure is not the end. Delay is not denial. Struggle is not defeat. Faith keeps you standing when everything else tries to knock you down. It keeps you believing when it would be easier to quit. And every time you choose faith, you move closer to the breakthrough God has prepared for you. There will be moments when your faith is tested, when doubt tries to creep in, and when discouragement tries to take over. But even in those moments, God is with you. He does not abandon you because you feel weak. He strengthens you. He does not turn away when you struggle. He draws closer. Your faith does not have to be perfect. It just has to be placed in a faithful God. So hold on. Keep believing. Keep trusting. No matter how big the obstacle looks, faith in God is bigger. No matter how long the wait feels, God is still working. And no matter how impossible it seems, when God is with you, faith will always lead you to victory. One of the greatest lies people believe is that they are fighting their battles alone. When problems come, when pressure builds, and when life becomes heavy, it is easy to feel isolated and forgotten. But the truth is far greater than your feelings. God is with you in every battle, every struggle, and every season of your life. Even when you cannot see Him, He is working behind the scenes, fighting for you, guiding you and protecting you. You are never alone, and you never have to face anything by yourself. So many people become discouraged because they think the outcome depends only on their strength. They look at how tired they are, how limited their resources are, and how many times they have failed, and they feel like they cannot go on. But when God is with you, the outcome does not depend on you alone. It depends on His power, His wisdom, and His faithfulness. And God never loses a battle. He never gives up on what He has started, and He never leaves His children behind. In every difficult moment, God is doing something that you may not understand yet. He is shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for something greater. The enemy wants you to believe that the struggle means you are losing, but in reality, it often means you are growing. When God is with you, even the hard seasons are working for your good. What feels like a setback is often a setup for a breakthrough. Think about how many times in your life you thought it was over, but somehow you made it through. You are still here because God was with you then, and He is with you now. Every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, and every step you took in faith was seen by God. He never turned away from you. Even in silence, He was working. When God is with you, you don't have to fear the unknown. You don't have to be afraid of what tomorrow will bring. He already knows what you will lack. He has already prepared the strength, the wisdom, and the provision you will need. You may not see it yet, but heaven is arranging things in your favor. Doors are opening that you haven't reached yet. Answers are coming that you haven't heard yet. Battles do not mean God has left you. They often mean you are moving closer to something important. The enemy fights hardest when he knows something good is ahead. But when God is with you, no attack can stop your destiny. You may be delayed, but you will not be denied. You may be challenged, but you will not be defeated. God is not only with you in the big moments, He is with you in the quiet ones too. He is with you when you feel strong, and He is with you when you feel weak. He is with you when you are confident, and He is with you when you are afraid. His presence does not change based on your performance. It is based on His love. So when life feels overwhelming, remember that you are not walking alone. You are walking with the God who created the universe. The same God who moves mountains is holding your hand. The same God who brings miracles is guiding your steps. Nothing you face is bigger than Him. Let this truth settle deep in your heart. You are supported by heaven. You are protected by God. You are never abandoned. No matter how intense the battle, no matter how dark the season, God is with you. And because He is with you, you will make it through. When God steps into what looks impossible, everything begins to change. What people call impossible is simply a place where human strength ends and divine power begins. So many times we reach the limit of what we can do, and that is when God reveals what only He can do. He specializes in moments when there seems to be no way forward. He turns dead ends into new beginnings and closed doors into open highways. What looks like the end of the road to you is often just the starting point for God's miracle. All through the Bible, God used impossible situations to show His glory. A barren woman gave birth to a nation. A shepherd boy defeated a giant. A small group of disciples changed the world. None of these things made sense in the natural, but they were made possible because God was involved. He loves to work in ways that remove all doubt that it was His hand that did it. When God moves, no one can take the credit but Him. Impossibilities are not meant to discourage you. They are meant to position you for a testimony. When everything is easy, it is hard to see God's power. But when the situation is impossible, His power becomes undeniable. That is why you should not lose hope when things look beyond repair. God is not intimidated by what you are facing. He is not confused by how complicated it looks. He is already working on a solution that will amaze you. Your job is not to figure out how God will do it. Your job is to believe that He will. Faith does not need a blueprint. Faith needs a promise. When God has spoken over your life, no obstacle can cancel it. You may not know when it will happen, and you may not know how it will happen, but you can be sure that it will happen because God is faithful. Many people quit right before the breakthrough because they think nothing is happening. But just because you don't see movement doesn't mean God is not moving. Seeds grow underground before they break through the soil. In the same way, God is working behind the scenes long before you see the results. What looks like silence is often preparation. When God turns an impossible situation around, He does it in a way that strengthens your faith. After you see what He has done, you will never doubt Him the same way again. What once terrified you will become a reminder of how powerful your God is. You will look back and realize that the thing you were so worried about became the very thing that built your faith. God's miracles are not limited by time, money, people, or circumstances. He is not waiting for everything to be perfect. He works in chaos. He works in confusion. He works in weakness. That is why you can have hope even when everything feels broken. God is able to bring beauty out of ashes and purpose out of pain. So instead of being afraid of impossible situations, welcome them as opportunities for God to show up. Every challenge is an invitation for God to demonstrate His power. Every obstacle is a chance for Him to prove that He is still in control. When God is with you, nothing you face is truly impossible. Hold on to your faith, keep trusting, keep believing. The God who began a good work in you will finish it. And when He does, your life will become a living testimony that with God, nothing is impossible. There are moments in life when you feel completely drained, when your strength is gone and your energy is low, and you wonder how you will keep going. In those moments, it is not your own ability that carries you forward. It is the strength that comes from God. When God is with you, He gives you a power that goes beyond human limits. It is a strength that lifts you when you feel weak, that holds you when you feel like you are about to fall, and that pushes you forward when everything inside you wants to stop. Human strength has limits. You can only do so much before you get tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed. But God's strength has no limits. When you reach the end of yourself, you have not reached the end of God. In fact, that is often where His power begins to work most clearly. When you admit that you cannot do it alone, you make room for God to do what only He can do. So many people try to carry everything by themselves. They try to be strong for everyone else. They try to hold it all together. But God never intended you to live that way. He wants you to lean on Him. He wants you to draw from His strength. When God is with you, you don't have to pretend that you are okay when you are not. You can come to Him exactly as you are, tired, broken, and uncertain, and He will fill you with new strength. God's strength does not always come as a sudden rush of energy. Sometimes it comes as quiet endurance. Sometimes it comes as peace in the middle of a storm. Sometimes it comes as the courage to take one more step when you feel like giving up. But no matter how it comes, it is always enough. It is exactly what you need to keep going. When you are weak, God is strong in you. That is one of the most powerful truths you can hold on to. Your weakness does not disqualify you. It invites God's power into your life. Every time you feel small, God has an opportunity to show how big He is. Every time you feel powerless, God has a chance to demonstrate His strength through you. The world tells you that you have to be strong on your own, but God tells you that you can be strong in Him. There is a difference. Strength in yourself will eventually run out. Strength in God will never fail. When God is with you, you can face challenges that you never thought you could survive. You can endure seasons that you thought would break you. You can overcome obstacles that once seemed impossible. God's strength also brings restoration. When you have been worn down by disappointment, hurt, or failure, He renews you. He gives you fresh hope and new courage. He reminds you that your past does not define your future and that your struggles do not determine your destiny. His strength lifts you above your circumstances and helps you see beyond your pain. So when you flee, week today, don't be discouraged. Let it be a reminder that God is with you. Let it be an invitation to lean into His strength. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to figure everything out. You just have to trust the God who is walking with you. And as you keep moving forward with His strength, you will realize that what once seemed impossible is now possible. Not because you were strong enough, but because God was with you every step of the way. Victory is not something you have to chase when God is with you. It is something that is already promised. When God steps into your life, the outcome changes. You may still face struggles, delays, and challenges, but the final result is never defeat. God does not start something and then abandon it halfway. He is faithful to complete what He begins, and when He is with you, victory is not a possibility, it is a certainty. So many people think that one mistake can cancel their future, that one failure can destroy their destiny, or that one bad season means everything is over. But when God is with you, no failure has the power to define you. God is greater than your past. He is greater than your weaknesses. He is greater than your mistakes. What looks like the end to you is often just a new chapter that God is about to write. God's kind of victory does not always look the way people expect. Sometimes it comes through growth instead of comfort. Sometimes it comes through patience instead of speed. Sometimes it comes rough endurance instead of ease. But it always leads to something better than you could have imagined. Even when the road is difficult, God is guiding you toward a future filled with purpose and hope. When God is with you, every challenge becomes a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block. What was meant to stop you ends up strengthening you. What was meant to discourage you ends up developing you. God has a way of turning your struggles into tools that shape you for greatness. The very thing that tried to break you becomes the thing that builds you. Victory also means that you no longer have to live under fear, guilt, or shame. God's presence brings freedom. You are no longer trapped by what you did or by what was done to you. You are free to move forward, to dream again, and to believe that good things are ahead. When God is with you, your story is not over. It is still being written. There will be times when you don't feel victorious. There will be moments when you feel tired, confused, or uncertain. But your feelings do not change God's promise. He is still working. He is still moving. He is still leading you toward victory even when you can't see it yet. Faith means trusting that God is in control even when the path is unclear. Every time you choose to trust God instead of giving up, you move closer to the victory He has prepared for you. Every time you keep going instead of quitting, you honor the God who is walking with you. And every step you take in faith brings you closer to the breakthrough that is already on its way. So don't let the challenges of today make you forget the promises of God. Don't let temporary struggles convince you that permanent defeat is coming. God is with you, and because He is with you, you cannot lose. You may face battles, but you will not be destroyed. You may face storms, but you will not sink. You may face trials, but you will not be overcome. Hold your head high. Keep your faith strong. Keep your heart open to God's leading. Victory is not just ahead of you, it is walking with you and with God by your side. Nothing in this world has the power to stop what He has planned for your life.